I'll be talking today about the wisdom of the dynamic network. And so basically what that means is basically how do people make decisions? So why do we care about that? So we care about that because it's actually the driver for many things that we rely on. Voting, for example, in the US election, Kuwait election, the parliament, also stock market. So it actually drives the demand. If you look at Bitcoin, for example, we had discussions this morning about it. It's a cryptocurrency. There's nothing packed or pegged on the Bitcoin. The value is basically, it's driven by demand and only demand. Kickstarter, people choose to fund and make companies successful, and they choose to boycott other companies and make them fail using this platform. So these platforms, if you look at them, each individual platform has a different aggregate function. And what that means is basically, if you look at the voting, so if you look at the voting, it's basically, in Kuwait, for example, we select the top 10 in each governance, and then they become the winner. In the US, it's a little bit different. The people who decides who wins the election is the electoral college. Next. So let's talk about definitions. So there's something called wisdom of the crowd. And this is a phenomena that happens if you have individuals, agents, and those agents basically are combined to make a crowd, and their collective decision is what we call wisdom of the crowd. So in a voting setting is basically, in basically easier vote, the more people who chooses this product will win, or this person would win. Who actually thought of it, or who actually formalized it? There's a statistician named Galton in 1907. He observed something, which basically he went to a competition, and the competition was to guess a weight of an ox. So people submitted guesses, and he collected all the guesses, and he aggregated all the guesses together, and he found that the wisdom of the crowd was a pound less than the actual weight. And he published a paper called The Voice of Crowds, and that's basically what enables and drives the voting system and other applications that we use. So let's look at the scientific method. How do we study such thing? We have assumptions, and then we build models, and then we conduct experiments, and then we refine the model. Next. So the assumptions that Galton made are two. People are independent. And what that means, people don't influence each other, nor talk to each other. And he made the other assumption, which is basically people are fair. They're not biased. And but we believe that's wrong. People talk, people influence each other all the time. We see it. Next. So we actually designed a game. We split it. We had 3 different types of groups. Solo, which is the Galton model. We had static network and then dynamic network. Solo is basically number of, if you basically want to make a decision and then you have a number of stuff that you want to make, you basically ask everyone to give you an answer, and then you aggregate to get the truth. Static, imagine a network where you're forced to listen to n number of individuals. So you have your assumptions plus your social setting, but you're limited to that. Think of like segregated areas. Dynamic is basically if you have a broader, and you can block and select who to choose from, and you also have a mechanism to know and understand who's basically fooling you. So the game looked like that. It's basically an online game. Everyone could participate. in it. So the first stage is basically where everyone would see a plot, and they would guess the correlation. It's only positive correlation from 0 to 1. Next. The static and dynamic would basically submit a different, a revised guess using the social information. So they get more information from the network. Next. And the dynamic network is basically they have a stage where they block information, they block individuals, and select other individuals to listen to in the next rounds. People played 20 rounds. We had 360 people to participate in this game. Why this is important, and this is the results. We believe that, go back, please. So we believe that if you place people in dynamic network, their KDE, which is basically their distribution of error, is less in a standard deviation and mean, but solo is the worst, and then actually the dynamic is less it has a less income inequality. Next, and that actually, if you look at each network setting, you can see that all the people that participated in the dynamic treatment actually benefited. So we had a patch of 12 players to play at the time, at each game. And you can see that all of them made better decisions than the static network and also by the solo network. And this is the team. Thank you so much.